Pam. The well-adjusted person is one who has been permitted to be an individual, but who also has learned to cooperate with others. In addition to having David Rosenblad providing our music, Joe Dominguez is our usher, and Tom Allen is our video tech today. Thank you, Maria and Sherry, for taking care of distributing the prayers to our prayer group and silent unity each week. Thank you all for being at the service today. If this is your first time here, anyone? Yes. Would you please stand and share?
Hi, my name's Kelly Basket, and I was working in Bernie over the summer, right around the corner on St. Luke, and I had attended a Unity in New Brunswick last year, at the beginning of this year, but I never came over here. I kept passing by, and I was like, so I went to one last weekend. I went to Unity in San Antonio. It's a little far from where I'm staying, so I'm back in this area, so I thought I'd try it out today.
Very happy to have you join us today. If you'd like to receive our newsletter or email notices, please sign the sheet at the back of the church.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be happy to include you in our mailings. We won't share your email or personal information. You will notice our activities listed in your bulletin. If you have any questions, please ask Reverend Jay or a board member, and they'll be happy to tell you more. Please remember we reuse the jackets of the order of service throughout the month. Most of the current info is printed on the insert, and you're welcome to take that with you, but please leave jackets. Please feel free to pick up a complimentary January, February Deity word from the back table. We are always collecting dry goods, toiletries to pass on to various Bernie groups to help those in need. There is always a container at the front door each week where you can put any donations. Please join us for our potluck lunch today after the service. You're welcome to stay even if you didn't bring a dish. When you can, please help other volunteers with cleanup after we eat, doing the dishes and wiping tables down and putting chairs back. Our annual meeting is after the potluck meal today. We will elect new board members, discuss our future, and open the floor to input. Anyone can attend, but you need to be a member to vote. If you are not a member and would like to be, please fill out an application form on the shelf at the front door and give it to a board member. Our monthly ladies' lunch is Wednesday, February 19th. If you're on our mailing list, you will get an email notice to RSVP so Sherry can make reservations. We have an Edgar Casey study group every second and fourth Friday from 10 a.m. to noon. And it does require an RSVP so that you can get the copies of the material. There is information in your bulletin. David Coleman is organizing a men's brunch group on the second Saturday of March. Our next meeting is March 8th from 10 to 11:30. Talk to David if you are interested. Sunday morning book discussion every Sunday from 9:30 to 10:30 in the fellowship room. Come for coffee, tea, and stimulating conversation. We are currently reading and discussing The Gift of Change by Mary Ann Williamson. Join us as we delve deeply into the powerful role of change in our lives today. We have a sign-up sheet on the desk by the front door. If you'd like to leave your name and email address, you will be on our list and receive the monthly newsletters, weekly announcements about the upcoming Sunday service, and occasional reminders and special notices. If you have been attending and aren't getting notices, please put your name down again. And you can unsubscribe at any time. We have several things happening weekly on Zoom. They are listed in the order of service. Please stand as we sing our celebration song 125.
within. There's no use looking somewhere else for power that you need to win. Work wonders from within. It's your good within. Just take your mind from outer fear. Don't think too late begin. In you, in me, there's power to be. In you, in me, there's power that will set us free. Of course it's up to me. Of course it's up to me. So I'll set my mind to use my power. If wonders I want to see. Yeah.
That's a shorty. We needed another verse in there or something. Day of the word.
Are you on the worship assistant script and not the announcements? No, I'm on the worship assistant. Is this where we go next?
Sit down.
Okay, so I guess we see. Everybody can sit. Inside your bulletin, you will find a prayer request form. For any prayer requests, you can drop them in the offering basket later, and they will be put with other prayer requests. Our own prayer team prays over them for a week, and they are also sent to Silent Unity, where they are prayed over for a month. Now we will have the daily word read by Pat Parton.
As we quietly and gently prepare for the reading of the daily word, we remember that we are in spirit with millions of daily word readers in churches throughout the world. The Christ candle is lit as a reminder of the Spirit of God within all of us, which we call the Christ within. The word for today is world peace. The affirmation, I hold a vision of a peaceful world. The peace I wish to see in the world begins in my own heart. To call upon the peace within me and bring it into the world, I use my spiritual gift of love to feel in harmony with all others. I use my power of imagination to envision the world filled with peace. And through my gift of will, I choose peaceful responses no matter what the circumstances. I envision God's healing, loving power enfolding the earth and all of its people. As I claim this spiritual vision, my heart is lifted and it's easier for me to perpetuate peace. The notion that others are holding the same vision of a peaceful world encourages and comforts me. I pray our shared goal of peace on earth touches every heart and mind in every corner of the globe. The verse from the Bible today is Isaiah chapter 26, verse 3. Those of steadfast mind you keep in peace because they trust in you. And again, the affirmation, and if you choose so, please say it with me. I hold a vision of a peaceful world. My name is Pat Parton, and thank you for worshiping here at Unity of Bernie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you, Pat.
Please stand and join us in the call for faith together. I am at peace.
I am at peace with myself and every living being, and I reflect this in every choice I make.
Remain standing as we sing our joy song, number 16, Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was mine, but now I see. Was grace that taught my heart to sing, and grace my fears relieved.
Through
Many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already found. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far to freedom at will
You have another one?
was great.
Which one is it? I don't know.
It was grace that taught my heart to sing.
Oh, we already did that one. We did. We did that was the second verse.
And we're done.
You want to do it again? Yeah. Let's do God's grace again. Let's do that one again. Because that was really my second verse, and that is the right order.
'Twas grace that taught my heart to sing, and grace my fears relieved. How precious in that grace appeared the hour I first believed.
About amazing grace.
It doesn't do it really well.
And now, our mission statement and all together.
Is a vibrant, loving, spiritual community, providing a sacred space for personal growth. We honor and celebrate the Christ within all people.
And we may be seated. I will now turn it over to Reverend Jay for the blessing of the prayer request and your service.
Good morning, and good morning to those of you who are tuning in online. You're welcome, as always, and we're so glad you're with us. This is a time in our service where we bring our prayer requests forward in our consciousness. We hold the idea of love above all. It's supreme, and we know that love answers the very basic questions of our hearts. In the lives of the dear ones that you may hold in prayer, including your own, know that you are answered. And the answer comes by the receptivity and the openness that you bring forward right now. If you have to write something, if you haven't written it on the prayer request part, on the prayer request card in your bulletin, I'll take time for you to do that now. And as Sherry brings it forward, you can place it in the box. But I think everybody's good. All right. And know that when you pray right now, whatever position or posture you feel, especially internally, know that you are backed up by the power of the universe. You are conversing with the Creator, and that's inside you. That's a mighty privilege and a great responsibility and a wonderful comfort. Loving infinite presence, we give thanks that you are the cornerstone of our being, the very foundation for who we are. Today there are people who are hurting, that are confused and upset. Their lives are not working the way they'd like. Somebody close to them may be ill. They may be suffering a health challenge. Maybe anything in the human experience that hurts. We know you appear to them right now as the love, comfort, joy, peace, and wonder that they need. We affirm that you touch them. You touch us right now. For those of us who are in celebration and happy, we know you are right with us where we are. You are the God of understanding. And you meet each one of us where we are. How blessed we are to have that. We affirm receptivity to those who need it. And we know right now, as our prayers rise, They join a wonderful chorus of those all over the world right now thinking affirmative thoughts and making a band and circle of good. You touch each one according to their understanding and their need. We affirm that now. And the love that we are, we bring present right now. And so it is. Amen.
As, the word as, adverb, preposition, conjunction, used as a comparison to the degree of something. Also connects two thoughts together, like you might be in one place talking about another as it goes. And as you can see, the name of this song up there is I See Love. And it's a brand new song. You're guinea pigs again, sorry about this. I just finished this. I didn't really finish this, I just abandoned it for the day so I can keep going. But it's a song about love, as you might guess, but it's about learning to love ourselves, about self-love. And hey, you know, it is Valentine's weekend. You can take it any way you want. But what do you see when you look in the mirror? When you look deeply, does the truth become clearer? And how does it feel deep in my feet in the water? On this new journey with horizons that are broad. Why is it hard to learn to love yourself? What is that really my picture on the shelf? How you can only love others to the depth that you can love yourself. What do I see? I see love as we are. Love is the strongest power through each day and hour. When I look at you, I see love. Someone once said, if you want to change the world, you need to learn to love yourself. 'Twas an angel in a dream that was telling me to get my journal off the shelf. Can I see love as a spark in my spirit and my soul? Like a wave slowly rolling in, making me whole. Why? I'm here to help raise a vibration, then get past that negative migration. How? When I look deep inside to find what I might be, what do I see? Yeah, I see love as we are. Love is our heart chakra power, undeniable power. When I look deeply, I see love. As I stand here with my arms open wide, embracing the beauty that's deep down inside, I see love in this story I'll tell. In the mirror, in the water, I can see it so well. What do you see? Y'all can sing along if you know it by now. I see love as we are. Love is our strongest power through each day and hour. When I look deeply, guess what? I see love as we are. Love, it's the
be loved. Learn to love ourselves. We can learn to love ourselves.
I put some more information out there on the thing. Y'all want to look at it. Here's the next song. In the midst of his kingdom, the Lord said he would be. It doesn't take very many. You can be just 2 or 3. And I feel that same sweet spirit I felt all time before. Surely I can say I've been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can see His mighty power and His grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
In this wonderful moment, we center ourselves aside. We go to the place that we're accustomed to going to. The place of peace, where joy and love and good reside. Our feet firmly on the floor, our palms in our lap, crossed, whatever is comfortable. Those of you who are viewing, whatever posture you're in. Right now, we make contact with that power and that presence. And it is done in the silence. We feel our breathing slow. We become aware of what's going on inside us. And we say, peace, be still. In this upcoming moment of silence, time of silence, we align ourselves with the truth. In this moment, we affirm recreation. We affirm that which we need to know is revealed to us, comes to us effortlessly through grace. We are remade, set up and set apart to do a great thing. We carry this wonderful feeling forward, outward, touching everyone we meet with the truth of who we are. We give thanks for this moment, for all things are made new. And so it is. Amen.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
Thank you, Dave. Well, good morning. It's wonderful to see you all. And again, welcome to those of you who are online. This morning, I'd like to talk to you about what some folks have said is a touchy subject, the idea of self-love, because it can convey the idea that, somebody's full of themselves or conceited or arrogant or narcissistic. This is not the kind of love I'm speaking about this morning. Self-love I'm talking about knows that I just described properly as the activity of a fearful person, one that is pulled away from the love they are. When you see people acting in a heavy-handed, narcissistic, or arrogant way, you can be sure that underlying all that is a big load of fear. The self-love that I'm talking about this morning and that I like for us to celebrate and think about is the one that encompasses the whole of who we are, who we think we are, who we affirm we are, wherever we are on the path. It doesn't accept ourselves just as a fair weather friend to us, but it takes into account everything and every facet of everything we go through. We don't want to be the type that runs from who we are. So many times, and I've said it in here a lot and over my speaking career, even before I was a minister, I remember saying that so much of what passes for religion teaches us to disavow, disown the things that are our greatest teachers. If we run from something because we're scared of it inside, if we feel unacquainted with it, if we're wondering, where did this come from? And we get scared, we'll run from it and we'll build defense against it. And when we build defenses, we're building fear. I'm talking about this morning a wholesale radical acceptance of who you are. I'm talking about nothing less than accepting yourself as the image and likeness of your Creator. Jesus said, "You are the light of the world." We affirm that. We believe it. We honor it. We know it here. That's part of what is inherent in what we call New Thought and unity in particular. We know that our lives follow our thoughts. We are centers of divine expression. Charles Fillmore in 1914 said, "Love isn't a plaything of human emotions, it is a divine law." The law of love Ernest Holmes talked about love and law being interchangeable. Emerson spoke about love for humanity, or the general love we have for others proceeds from what we think of ourselves. Therefore, we rise and fall in relation to how we think, and we project that onto the folks that are around us, in front of us. The self-love that I'm talking about this morning enables you to say, everything that has happened in my life up till now was a necessary part of my growth and expansion. Everything that happened up till now was a necessary part of my growth and expansion. Even those things that you feel ashamed of, those things that if you could do over again, you would do them differently right away. Everything that has happened in your life has been for the perfection of your being. Now, you already come here perfect. You're the image and likeness of God. But you grow up, as Don Miguel Ruiz talked about in The Voice of Knowledge, you grow up hearing stories about yourself. People tell you stories about who you are and what you should be. You go to school and you hear the teachers talk about winners and losers. They talk about you want to make something of your life. They teach you, for instance, about the presidents and how they grew up and how they went ahead to do great things. And you get the idea that when you're winning according to that definition, you're living correctly without any idea of honoring who you really came in this world to be. Now, you may have come into this world with the personality to do great things, to be president, to be senator, to be governor, to be a CEO, to do any of those things. But how do you know unless somebody has taken the time to ask you? This is what we do in New Thought. We ask you to go within and honor the highest vision you have of yourself. The problem is, we don't have very high visions of ourselves. We believe what those teachers and authority figures have said over a period of time. We feel very small. And when we look at the millions and millions of people around us, we really can sink into this idea that we're really just infinitesimal and we don't really matter. But the truth is, you're bigger than you know. You're grander than you know. How do I know this? The one that I serve said, you are. Any cursory reading of the New Testament and the red letters of Jesus will tell you what he thought of you. He said, have I not said, ye are gods? Think about that. Not that you're the God, but you are part of the very God. And if that's the case, you already have inherent self-worth. It's not a matter of being worthy. We're not talking about self-worth. Now we're talking about self-esteem, which is simply doing good things and remembering. Sometimes I'd like to tell people, get a journal and write down things through the day that you do. And before you go to bed at night, look at all the things that you did that you called good, and you build from there. It really can be very practical and pragmatic. We want to make so many times a drama of this. I remember that I attached my self-esteem at one time to how well that I did in school. I brought home a report card that had grade A's in English and A+, and C- and D's in math. And my father, being an educator before he was a clinical psychologist, wondered about that because it was not congruent to him for me. And so we were walking outside doing some work in the storeroom, and we were carrying some boxes, and I was grumbling about this report card. He was grumbling back about the same thing. And I said, Dad, I just don't get it. And we were carrying boxes and walking to the storeroom, and I said, I just don't get it. and he said, Jay, put the box down. He said, you don't get it because you don't apply yourself. You don't love this like you love English and literature. I'm not asking you to love it. I'm asking you to bring forth the intelligence you already have. Quit looking out the window. And he knew I would. Quit looking out the window and thinking about girls and football and cars and all things I know you're thinking about. And he was right. I did that. And so he said, just pay a little attention. You can bring that up. So we walked a little bit farther, and I said, but Dad, it just doesn't interest me. The figures, the whole thing doesn't interest me. I just don't think I can do it. Jay, put the box down. He said, sometimes you have to discipline yourself to be interested. You have to bring a discipline to yourself, and imagine this, you might actually find something you like if you apply. He said, that's what I want you to know, son. I love you. Started up, walking the boxes back in to the storeroom, and then he said, and you may find that one day you love math and you'll make your living in it. And I said, Dad, put the box down. I knew that while I might apply myself and do what I need to do, I was never really going to love it. It just wasn't my thing. But you see, I had a father that accepted me where I was and challenged me to be better. You have a father, mother, higher power, whatever, that accepts you right where you are and challenges you to be better. What did Jesus do in front of everybody he met? He called forth their own inherent perfection. It couldn't be any other way. He said in front of people that had issues in their lives that he saw beyond the appearance. He was able to do what the metaphysicians of old called treatment. You all remember that? Usually we treat for this. It was big in Christian Science, the science of mind, and some of these things where somebody holds the thought of perfection and sees beyond the appearance that we're complaining about, that we want to run from, that we do anything to forget. Those things that hurt at 3 o'clock in the morning. Do you think, because I happen to be an ordained pastor, that I've done this for 18 years and spoken for 35 years, that I don't know what a dark night of the soul looks like? I'm walking, could be walking through one now, but I'm walking. And you keep going. It's the little things like when it all overwhelms you and you don't know what you're going to do. You have enough love for yourself to do something very small like put the cap back on the toothpaste. Clean the cat's water bowl out. Do those things, chop wood, carry water. You know what they do in Zen monasteries? A lot of mundane things to ground you. You know what they do they used to do in hospitals for the mentally ill and give them work to do with their hands. Things that took their mind off the swirling currents of torment and put it in front of them. You have something in front of you right now. It's in you. It's the love that you are. The great minister, Dr. Robert Schuller, wrote a book called Self-Love that I love. It came in 1977 because what he did was he talked about the need of the church to quit putting and laying this foundation of guilt on people when they came to faith. To say you are a miserable sinner, you're a worm, and you're saved only by the grace of a God who will accept you if you say the right words. He also wrote a book that was a sequel to that called Self-Esteem, the New Reformation. It was foundational for transforming the ideas in churches. And you know what? A lot of churches, temples, and mosques today are finding those ideas work. That affirming the goodness in people beats talking about what we call the evil, the badness, the wrong. Because what you talk about, think about, and pay attention to expands. Don't we know that already? You give it life by your own thoughts. I remember when I was 10 years old, I built a noise on a window that was tapping. It was a twig. I built that into somebody's trying to get in the house. I pulled the covers up, and it just, but all of a sudden I thought, wait a minute, you're a boy. You're not supposed to feel like this, but I was feeling like that. And then something, I just finally got tired of it. I pushed the covers up and I ran to the window and I said, get out of here. I was talking to a twig. In my mind, it was a burglar. Somebody would jump in the house as soon as they could. I had built that up myself. It wasn't even true. And you know what? I think down deep, I kind of enjoyed it. There was a drama to it. I was going to get up and go tell that bad guy to get away. Anyway, it was something to do when I couldn't go to sleep. What do we do to ourselves when we can't accept our lives? We invent stories, or we get involved in other people's stories, or we tell ourselves things that aren't true about who we are. The self-love I'm talking about this morning properly understands that when you walk through life with an appreciation for the God within, you're going to do that for the people without. But if you think of yourself as a worm in the dust, as a sinner in negative terms, you're going to attract people that think that very same way and experiences that mirror your expectations. Why do you think that we say in unity, well, I'm stealing it from Eric Butterworth, excuse me, why do you think he said our job is not to set things right, but to see them rightly? Because there's no way you can physically go set everything right in this world. But since everything has its precedent in a thought, if enough of us hold thoughts of goodness, wonder, kindness, mercy, joy, peace, thanksgiving, these wonderful things, we hold that, then that's the frequency we vibrate out, and all the boats rise on that water. We're replenishing the ocean of faith, and it brings all of us up. Critical mass, the idea that as soon as enough people start thinking something, things happen. Have you seen it in this church? I've seen it since I've been here. Somebody gets an idea, and the next thing you know, another person's on board with it, another, and then bang, we've got something wonderful going on. That's what happened. That's what happened during this pandemic. I'll tell you the truth. I always tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you something that really bothered me. It was in the middle of 2020, and we were broadcasting in remote locations. I got the flies were buzzing all over, mosquitoes. I even had fleas crawling up my neck. We were doing it live. And it was Brent Ackles and myself deciding how we're going to keep this church going during unprecedented time. And I thought, all right, just get out there and talk. And that's what I did. And I thought, something good has got to come from this. I don't know what it is, but something good. And every time that I did a Sunday service from a remote location, I affirmed that this or something better was going to occur in the lives of those who were looking. But look what's happened. Now we have a church service that reaches people all over the world. Now we're not the only ones that have that, obviously. But we're 2,300 strong. And those that tune in, think about that. Think about this wonderful, quaint hill country church that now can be called something like Unity of Bernie Worldwide. I mean, they're tuning in Afghanistan. They're tuning in South Africa, Australia, Canada, Wisconsin. Gee. And that Zoom, that Skype thing happened in large part because of that pandemic. I look back at those days of swatting those fleas and flies and sweating. Oh, it was hot sometimes in those locations. But I couldn't do it at home because I have cats crawling all over me. It was just something we had to go through. But look what happened. We're reaching and touching so many people. And what is this but love? We want to spread the love. And I want it to be authentic love. And I think those that tune in feel it because they say so and they leave comments like that. Now, what can you do this morning if you feel less than who you really are. I'm going to ask you to put the box down a minute. Put the box down of the preconceived notions about who you are and what you can do. If you're walking through a particularly dark time right now, I affirm you through it, but that's not what I mean. Put that aside just for a moment. If you're going through happiness and joy and wonder, and I hope you are right now, also put that aside just for a moment and think about the eternal connection that is you, that was you, and always will be you. Or as U.S. Anderson says in 3 magic words, I am, I was, and I always will be. Think about that. You're so much more than the parenthesis in eternity. As Joel Goldsmith writes, our parenthesis in eternity, you know, is the birth date and the death date. And there's a dash in the middle, and that dash is life. But you think about the parentheses, whatever year you were born and whatever year you passed. Do you think that's all you are? Do you think you just showed up here as a fluke, as an accident? Do you understand that you're part of divine mind? And the reason that we know that is because it has been told to us and taught to us by those who were enlightened and knew it. They proved it. Jesus Christ talked about human potential more than he talked about anything else. He called forth the best in us. And if I'm doing my job right, I'm calling forth the best in you. It's beyond the hurts, the heartbreaks, the things you wish you could forget, the things that want to crawl into your mind late at night. Believe me, folks, I know this. I've been hurt. There have been things that have hurt lately. But beyond that, if I didn't have this core of truth in me, I would be stuck with the hurt. The idea is I can always come back to center. If I drop the pounding, persistent I thought that says I need to hurt. Why? Because it hurts so good. Why? Because, well, sad songs say so much. And they do, don't they? Elton John's right. You just get into it. And, to feel it hurts so good, as he called it. Sometimes we like to do that, and why? That's just a peculiarity of human nature. If I could tell you anything this morning that I have used personally for all these years, it would be to remember that I was already enough. I didn't even have to really even learn that math. You know what? My dad would have loved me if I had ended up flunking it. Now, there may be some things I couldn't do for a while. You know, the discipline part. But I was loved. And those of you who had a parent or a guardian or whatever that gave you that unconditional love, how blessed you are. And for those of you who struggled without that, you have the chance to give that to yourself right now. You believe in yourself enough to do it. You know, when you believe in yourself, you're believing in the God who made you. Reverend Jack Boland told me, my mentor, God loved him, meant so much to me. He said to me, as within, so without. It's really that simple. You have the choice, the chance to reparent yourself. How? You start telling yourself the things that you want to be, do, and have right now, and believe it, and know that the higher self of you has a plan that works. Your plan, the lower self, can get you into trouble because it's like a pinball bouncing around, because we go from approval to disapproval. We don't know what we're doing here if we don't consult something inside us that knows. Otherwise, we're at the mercy and whim of everybody else around us, and that's no way to live. If you're going to be at the mercy and whim of people you're around, make sure they're loving people. If you don't know what you want to do, if you don't even know how to begin this morning, know that you have a congregation in front of you full of people that are full of love. And you online, you can feel it. I know because you said so. Unity of Burning worldwide indeed. How about that? All from what was a big pain in the tuchus in 2020 called the COVID pandemic. Those things that bother you this morning can become your greatest blessing. It's almost trite for me to tell you that an oyster makes a grain of sand, makes a pearl out of it. That you can be strong in the broken places. You know, if you break a piece of iron, if you're able to do that, and you weld it back together, right where it's the strongest is where it's welded, in that broken place. There's another thing that says there's a break in everything God made. That's how the light gets in. But you have this morning greatness in you and the love of self that I would like to impart to you this morning. The idea of it. Forgive it all. You're going to have to anyway. Ever seen somebody on their way out of this life that's bitter? Ever seen somebody that's on their way out of this life that's angry and fearful and mad? It's not pretty. But I've seen people who have forgiven everything. And their forehead is serene. They're not necessarily happy. And they may be going through some pain, but I ask them what we're taught in school, how is it with your soul? How do you feel? I said, I'm okay. I'm all right. I want you to be able to feel that way this morning. And the way to do it is wholesale forgiveness, a new image of who you are, and surrounding yourself with people who call the best out of you. You've already got the third one because you're here. I affirm you in number 1 and in number 2. And I'm going to close with some words that are so powerful to me, and I hope that you take them as words for yourself. They're the first sentence in a book called Science and Health with Healing Scripture by Mary Baker Eddy. And she wrote, to those leaning on the sustaining infinite, today is big with blessings. Start right there. Leaning on the everlasting arms, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning on the everlasting arms. They're inside you. I call them forth for you right now. I believe it, and I know it's true. And so it is. Amen. And now comes the time that we give as we received. I ask you to give the best gift of which you're able, because you just heard it. We're doing so much here. It takes your gifts for us to continue what we're doing. So I ask you to, if you're able to do even a little more, 10% more, just 10% more, it helps in ways that you can't imagine. And for you who are tuning in online right now, I ask you to press the PayPal button on your page, or if you prefer to send your gifts to Unity of Bernie, P.O. Box 1973, Bernie, Texas 78006. That's Unity of Bernie, P.O. Box 1973, Bernie, Texas 78006. Thank you all for tuning in wherever you are. Some of these folks are tuning in at night. It's night where they are. I think this is fascinating stuff, or maybe I'm just excitable, but I love it. So I ask you to give the best gift as Joe comes forward right now. Thank you.
Freely, freely I have received, freely, freely I'll give. My love to me blesses all that I am, all that I give and receive.
Together we repeat our blessing for increase. Divine love
Through me, blesses, multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I send it forth with my blessings and my love.
And so it is. And for those of you who are staying for our meeting, I'm glad you are, but everybody's invited to potluck, and this is a wonderful, if you're new here for the first time, you've got to have some of this food. It's great, absolutely. Thank you. Yes, sir, especially your meatloaf. Thank you.
Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think we'll shine?
That was a quick circle, yeah?
There be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Together we say the light of
God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Namaste. Woo! Let's eat.
Doing better. I was sick for 2 weeks. Not so badly that I had to get out first. And I've been very above my head and just breathing.
For streaming thing? Oh, great.
Well, it is. I need one more login
To Austin. Spent the afternoon. I'm going to cut
I just want to thank you again for tuning in and spending some time with us today. This is just a real special kind of thing that we do. And that's how we roll. We're not the same as everybody, but everybody is different, and we accept that. We accept it. We honor that they are different.
Thank you.